know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start to the MLB season. Go Royals. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey there, Marcus Dash here, co-host of Chief Concerns. At the conclusion of this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast right here on YouTube. And for all you listeners out there, please be sure to give us a 5-star review on any of the platforms you use to listen to us. I want to thank you all for listening to us throughout the season, and we look forward to engaging with you all throughout the offseason. Enjoy the episode. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm here with our guy, Jason Dunn. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? What's going on? How's the weekend been going? How's the week been going for you? How's everything looking?
It's been going good. You know, we're in like a good weird time of sports right now where it's like, you know, March Madness is done. Obviously, congratulations to all you Kansas Jayhawks out there, or as the announcer, or the presenter said after the game, the Kansas City Jayhawks. But then we got baseball starting off. The Royals first pitch tomorrow. So yeah, it's a good time there, and then NBA playoffs is imminent too. So there's a lot going on right now. I know we're all counting down the days till training camp and OTAs and all that good stuff. So, but we have the draft coming up in a couple of weeks, so that'll be fun. Just for everybody out there, on the week before the draft, on the week of the 20th, we're gonna have NFL Draft Diamonds founder come on, and he's gonna talk to us about. JD's gonna tell him who he has his mock of his first 3 rounds of who he thinks the Chiefs should get, and then we'll have an analysis from Draft Diamonds, who they're the main scouting directors for the Hula Bowl. So these guys are really involved with these players that are coming out. So we'll get a first perspective analysis on JD's mock draft for the first 3 rounds for the Chiefs. So that'll be fun. Are you excited for that, JD?
I am excited. I tell you what, there's a lot that can move around there, to be honest with you. And I've been kind of looking at other people's kind of mock drafts and whatnot, and I'm like, hey, I don't really see that. But you're looking at the possibilities. What things could be. Could definitely be a lot of movement in different ways, different rights. I could see going for this position more than this position. Sometimes getting a guy that who will be a dynamic player for your team. You can go ahead and pick him up, say, look, let's go on and take a chance and get this guy right now. If he's available, I can see us also doing that. So, yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited for these things to happen, and we'll see how it's going to go.
It's a very deep draft class. It's an amazing draft class to have. Amazing draft to have 12 picks and possibly, you can trade them to trade up, trade back, and more draft picks. There's so many possibilities. So it's gonna be a fun one that we haven't had the opportunity to have in a while. One guy who a lot of Chief fans, we got to do conversation with our Chief Concerns account earlier on Twitter. Treylon Burks, receiver from Arkansas, who a lot of people love him. He's flying up draft boards right now. He's being compared to a bunch of guys, Deebo Samuel being one, Alshon Jeffrey's another comparison for him. But big thing about him is his hand size. I believe he measured it at 9 inches, 9 7/8 of an inch, or his hand size. And apparently he has 5XL customized gloves that he has to wear because that's how big his hands are. He has to get 5X, and they're custom made for him. Now, we had our guy, Klein Optimus on Twitter add us today and say, what were JD's glove size? And I was like, that's a good question. JD, what was your glove size?
My glove size was 8XL. Now, now it was I had a 2XL, 3XL. That's what I would wear. 2XL was a little bit more kind of snug on my hands. I liked it a little snug. Now it depends on what I was doing. If I was, 3XL, definitely kind of during the wintertime, because sometimes, during the summer it would expand on you as well. Get wet, all those different things would be factors. But sometimes 3XL would work. I just feel like if just gripping the ball, just want to just catch it just right, 3XL was good. 2XL. And then also it depends on the color too. Sometimes like we wear white gloves, they just look huge, like those big Mickey Mouse gloves, So I hated those. I used to always wear like the dark gloves or the red gloves, red and black. I had like the little Spider-Man design. I really loved those. But that was the size. My hands were like 2X, 3X. But man, customized 5X, that's insane, man. That's insane. That's big hands. But I was looking at like they said it was like 9 and something on the size. So I'm thinking it's probably more so like his palm size. The thickness of it. You know what I mean? Because when I'm looking on the measurement, lengthwise, it doesn't really. I don't know. Doesn't quite seem 5X. But maybe he just likes bigger gloves. It could be part of it. So.
But as far as for a receiver, is palm size, would you say that's a bigger deal?
Palm size is a bigger deal. I mean, because, they measure everything. They think, the thickness of your fingers. But, when you're talking about maybe the size of your hands, like the thickness of your palms, right, is kind of like that real meaty part is what they're looking for. Like when somebody shakes your hand, that's what you're looking for. Like, oh, my goodness, like that palm is covering, the majority of my hand right now. So, I think that's part of it. Like the palm size of his hands is probably huge, man. He's probably just got big mitts. And as far as like the length of his fingers and stuff like that, don't quite know. But I know they usually measure, I think from index to the thumb, I think that's how they measure like the length and size of your hand.
Yeah. I mean, just based on the picture we posted on Twitter, I looked up on Google. It's like he's holding his hands up like this and they just look enormous. So
yeah,
that bodes well for his hands. And also another person, I believe it was Klein as well, or someone on our Twitter account also said that he had met Tony Gonzalez one time, your boy TG, and they shook his hand. He said it was the biggest hand he's ever seen in his life. Now begs the question: who had bigger hands between you or TG?
I don't know. I mean, Tony had big hands, but it was I don't know. You usually could tell when you're shaking a person's hand how big they were. Right. It's almost like when Jack Black was talking to Tony Robbins in the elevator. He was like, "Oh my gosh, banana hands!" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but you could tell somebody who has this, abnormally large hands. But TG didn't really seem like he had like abnormally large hands. But I'm sure like people say it about me too. Like, "Oh my gosh, you got how big his hand is." Like, "Oh man, don't hurt my hand, JD, when you shake it." Like I'm always giving a nice firm, hard grip. I'm just used to that. So I get that all the time. Like, man, look how big your hands are and stuff. So maybe it's just because of our size. We don't realize, other people, I guess, normal size or, range and all of that. It just seems like it's small. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously proportion size matters. I mean, obviously, taller you are, you're going to have bigger features, bigger feet, bigger hands,
right.
Just all that. So I remember when in high school there was this point guard. He was like a shooting guard on the team, 6'3", and I remember in class, that we were doing like the measuring hand size, and kid had the exact same hand size as mine. And I don't have big hands. I have like, do you remember the Burger King commercial a couple of years back where like, the guy had really small hands, you eating the Whopper, and like his hands were like this big. I have small hands. This guy was 6'3". He has the same exact hand size as mine. I was like, oh, you think usually guys taller have bigger hands, but he was like, it was one of those things. It was like his insecurity. He didn't want to show his hand size. I was wow. It's like, talking about 5'8" guy, same hand size as a 6'3" guy. Well, I guess not everybody pans out that way.
Right. No, hey man. Yeah. And I guess it's just one of those deals. because people talk about it, the size of your hands or the size of your feet, all those different things. So yeah, I speak up proudly, talking about how big my hands are, right, or how big my feet are, because everybody goes into, oh my gosh, yeah. So it's just one of those things, it's a little funny. Yeah. But yeah, for a big guy to have like small feet and small hands, those things are rare. It's rare. My people talk about like my ears. It's in my ears, are not that big. I must say, my ears are normal. To me, I'm like, when am I supposed to have like great big old, yeah. I don't know. So
because you're taller, you should have big ears. Yeah, I don't get it.
Right.
I'm a medium guy. I remember with my gloves, I'd always get smaller, medium. Just depends on what Nike or Reebok. Some are cut smaller, some are cut bigger. So like some I would go medium and some I go small. So yeah, I'm medium. Cool. As my girlfriend would say, I'm fun sized. So
there you go.
But all right, so we're gonna get into some off-season stuff. So after last few weeks have been kind of crazy for the Chiefs. And after last week, we talked about possibly getting Stephon Gilmore, James Bradberry. Yeah, nothing's happened on that front. In fact, a report came out that said that we're not actually interested in James Bradberry at all. His ticket's too high, $13.5 million. With the Chiefs are just not interested in that at all. So two glaring holes right there. And you'd think after the Tyreek Hill move was made, there was going to be a lot more movement. Not really much has happened since the Scantling pickup. But this week we did sign defensive tackle Taylor Stallworth from Indianapolis Colts. Depth signing at DT, not breaking the bank at all. So the question is, and a lot of people are, I named the episode Sleepless in Kansas City, and I feel like a lot of people are just kind of concerned and just kind of question what are we doing? Because we have two gaping holes at edge and cornerback. And we have all this money. So what do you think we're doing, JD? If you could give your best guess as to what was going on, what do you think we're doing?
Best guess and what I would assume is we're probably waiting on the draft, to be honest with you. And so, there's going to be a lot of willing and dealing, a lot of talking. Guys are moving up and down the board, each day. And it's all based off of your needs. What guys are talking about, who's going to be available, free agency after the draft. That's the thing about it too. Because what you start realizing is in this draft process, you don't have on your board how guys are graded, right? This guy right here is an A, B, C. What is our needs? Okay, how is our priorities moving around, right? How does this go? But like I was saying before, if a guy is like almost a no-miss guy, at that position, you might just, hey, look, if we can get him, let's go ahead and take him so this other team doesn't have him. And so I'm thinking right now that the Chiefs are probably waiting on the draft to draft maybe a corner. And there's a lot of guys in the draft, man, that are available that could come in and probably play right away. It's not going to cost you anything. You're going to be locked in for 5 years with this guy that could come in and compete. And they were saying that, like, I guess the corners are a little top heavy. You got a lot of guys that's probably really good from like 1 to like 10, 15 that can really come in and probably play. And so the Chiefs are probably banking on that more so than anything else. Same thing with maybe the pass rushers, the edge rushers, same thing. And they're saying like, look, we go ahead and we concentrate what we get on the draft. The holes we need to fill. If we don't get those, then we know we have these guys out here, free agent wise, that, Ingram still is not signed. We still got some other guys out here that may not want all this money, but now all of a sudden your stock drops because it's like, look, we're getting you late, but we still need you. So let's make a good deal. Still got money to sign guys. So that's probably the issue. I know it's probably what the guys are thinking right now, because we still draft corner pretty high, defensive end and edge pretty high. Probably still get linebacker, safety, and all those different things. Wide receiver, all those things to be filled. And so we haven't moved that much on free agency in any of those positions because they're all available in the draft. So
it's funny you say that. So the idea that we're waiting for the draft to come and seeing what we get out of it, and if we don't get those needs, then we move back to free agency. Because I saw this report this week that Tyrann Mathieu and Stephon Gilmore are in no rush to sign right now, which is funny. It's the opposite view. The players are in no rush because they are waiting until after the draft to see teams will come after them, and then they can maybe get into a bidding war with teams.
Right.
I mean, but I guess that's my question. Do the Chiefs run the risk of getting into a bidding war? Let's say we don't get a cornerback. Let's say we go heavy on edge and heavy on receiver, and a right tackle, for example, in the first 3 rounds. We don't go cornerback. Do we run the risk of having a bidding war for a Stephon Gilmore for other teams that may have missed on getting a cornerback in the draft? I mean, do we run the risk of that?
Absolutely. You absolutely do. And also, too, what you got to realize is sometimes those guys will wait after the draft. It's like, okay, now you know you need my talents. But also, too, it's like, wait a minute, hold on. If it's too high, then we'll just pass on you. We'll play with the guys that we got here. We can play with the guys we got in the room. Maybe, pick up on some other guys that maybe we will be able to, adjust around, if we need to in certain positions. But I think that's what you start really thinking and trying to understand the strategy on drafting the right guys, right? That's how I feel. And so Gilmore going into a bidding war with another team, it's not going to change. If he's too high, he's just too high. We didn't have the money before to sign him. Look, there's no reason why now all of a sudden you ask for another $2 million, $3 million here. Hey, man, look, you know what? Just keep on walking. We appreciate it, but, we're not going to do it. We're just going to play with the guys we got in the room, try to give them some confidence and just roll the dice with them. So you do run that risk, but also, too, I don't think what you do is you don't become desperate. You don't become desperate on trying to sign a guy, get the guy here for more money than what he was going to make before. That's just me. That would be my strategy in itself. If not, then you look down the road. Plus, we got enough picks. That's the way I look at it. If we're not giving up any picks to get a guy, and trying to work on things, we got enough picks to address those issues. And I think the Chiefs understand that. You got 12 picks in the draft, more than enough. You got more than enough to get 2 corners, 3 edge, a couple of receivers, linebacker. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That gives you that amount of flexibility, what you can do. And so getting the right guys here, you say, hey, look, those later draft picks, hey, we'll give away to move up for this guy or whatever. So I think the Chiefs are just thinking that, man. Play with the young guys. You got to develop your team. You got to look, to the future about what it is you want to do. And it's not going to cost you a whole lot. So that would be the strategy. Don't get into that bidding war. I don't think. Don't do it.
But I mean, as far as like, I know that some Chief fans have been saying it's like, we're going to go into this the season because people were banking on Bradberry, right? So we're going to have Snead and Bradberry as our corners, and then we just kind of devote the draft to the edge. And as far as a rookie coming in, it'd probably be easier to have a rookie edge rusher kind of high on that than having a rookie cornerback. I mean, is that true? Would it be harder for have a rookie cornerback to right out the gate?
I guess you can look at it both ways. To be honest, I think for a corner, depends on what you want him to do. He's going to play more man and more zone, more heavy. Either way, you get a guy who's better at that skill set. And so even with a young guy, like I was telling Barbershop last week, these guys only know what they know. And so when you come in, if you get a guy who has competed at the high level, matter of fact, a guy who's going to be in the NFL and guys who's in the NFL who played against Jamar Chase, right? These guys who's been in the last couple of years, you're saying this guy can come in and compete right now. If he's been going against those guys for the past couple of years, he could come in and play in the NFL. And so I think corners, to me, can make a transition because if he's a really good guy, shouldn't even have an issue. Same thing with edge. If an edge guy, if you're just that guy, and I think there's at least 10 good guys that could come in and be NFL ready. If you touch those guys coming in, shouldn't be an issue as far as, those guys becoming a development and being stars, and at least making some type of change on defense, making what word am I looking for? Making, a splash, if you will, with what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's pretty clear that Brett Veach does want to go younger. I mean, he's not, the $13.5 million on Bradberry is one thing, but also he is 28. I think he's going to be 29 when the season rolls around. So it's like, I guess we are kind of it's a facelift on the team. It's a facelift. We're kind of weeding out all the older guys, and it's, Patrick's going to become one of the biggest, the oldest guys on the team at some point here. And that's funny because Patrick's still young in the scheme of things.
Well, but I mean, the thing is, you have to think in the future wise, as far as like, what do you want to do? How are you going to develop this for the team down the road? And so you think if you have the necessary pieces, your core pieces here that you can still be with and keep developing around those guys, then you're still going to be an effective team. You're still always going to be in for the runners. As long as you have 15 back there, you're going to be good, right? He's always going to make you a contender. And we've known this. History shows when you have a good quarterback, they always make you a contender. He can make all those guys around him, better. And so you look at a guy like that, LeBron, Jordan, all these different guys you talk about, making guys around them better. So Patrick Mahomes can definitely do that. We got Kelsey here. He's going to be here. Wide receiver, we got some guys that are kind of young, right? We got him now, kind of a long-term deal. Juju's here for a one-year deal. But you get a young guy here from in wide receiver, you can develop him. And like I said, it's 15th on the ball to him, you're going to be all right. So.
Yeah. And that's the beauty about this whole thing is, we talk about how we said earlier, it's a deep draft, but it's deep in the positions that we need. It's deep in receiver,
Yes.
It's deep in edge, It's deep in corner.
Yep.
Even I was reading the other day that they actually, the tackles in this class are pretty good. And you can see some of the better right tackles in this draft class could be going late in this. And I read that like maybe the Chiefs even draft a left tackle high in the second round, or, maybe in the first round, just in case we don't want to pay the ticket that Orlando Brown might be costing us next year. I mean, that's if we are going full on frugal mode and we are, banking on that, but who knows?
Hey, no, listen, hey, everything's on the table. When it comes to the draft, everything's on the board. And that is good business sense. It was just saying, like, look, you got to prepare for this guy not to be here. If we're not looking to pay him that boatload of money, making him the highest paid left tackle, then let him move on. We get a young guy in here, try to teach him the ropes, see what he can do. Hey, let him learn for this past year behind it. Why not? Why not try to do it? And so NFL, man, it's still business. That's the main thing, man. It's just this thing right here is still business, but everything's up on the table. And I've learned a long time ago, as soon as they get you here into any team, they're always trying to replace you. That's the way it works. So it's just good business sense.
Yeah. And the worst case, you draft one of these left tackle guys, put him at right tackle. He's a beast at the right side. And, we keep Orlando Brown and we have a right tackle for the next 4 or 5 years. So
right.
Not the worst thing. And that's the thing you see in the past, like a lot of the Patriots, the Ravens, the Steelers, they always draft the first, second rounds. They're always drafting a good lineman, BPA linemen. So, and those are teams that historically have good lines, and, look what happens. So,
yeah.
And they were able to trade us Orlando Brown, and, their offensive line was kind of iffy last year. So I guess I can't cite that as an example, but but no, talking about Patrick Mahomes. So our next topic, last week, Patrick Mahomes finally broke his silence on the whole Tyreek Hill situation and trade. He did an interview with Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer, kind of just saying he was shocked, but he wasn't that surprised by it because Andy Reid and Brett Veach kind of talked with him throughout the entire situation. So he saw the whole thing evolving. But as he was talked about being kept in the loop of the situation, this is what it had a lot of good quotes on it. So I suggest you go read the article, everybody who's listening to this. But the things that stood out to me were this quote right here. Quote, "We had to move on and try to get as much as we could for him and try to build that receiving room again and do it to where we have the ability to go out there and compete every single week, which I trust Brett Veach and Coach Andy Reid will do. And that's the reason I signed the contract that I did. And that's the reason that I know I'm going to be in Kansas City for my entire career, because I have great people around me." He has a lot of good quotes in this whole thing, but these are two quotes in here that I really thought really stuck to me. Some people online were trying to make it was kind of a shot at Tyreek Hill, that he's not going to be in Kansas City for his entire career. But I think it just shows, it says a lot that he trusts Brett Veach and Andy Reid. But what did you make of Patrick kind of going out here and saying this, that he trusts the guys around him in the organization?
I say that was it was a media moment. it was one of those things that you had to stand up and say the right things to the media, to the people, to the fans of Kansas City. He understood his business, and he's trying to give his full confidence, and like you said, into Brett Veach and Andy Reid, into putting the money into him to move his thing forward. And I think he believes that. But also, too, I think, he was hurt by the move. Just be honest here. I'm sure he was sad to see Tyreek go. But as we know in the NFL, not for long, like these things do happen. Guys get traded all the time, and it's a little tough. As shocking as it is, the show must go on. That's the way it works. And so if he understands that, and they've conveyed to him, like, look, we've made you the loyalty. We got the long-term deal with you, and we will give you guys around you so you can be successful. So if we take Tyreek away, we're going to try to replace him with somebody else. We're going to get some guys in here they can still throw the ball to. We're not going to give you chopped liver, some dirt, and some, just some guys. The guys we're going to give around you, we want you to be successful. We're not going to do that. We're not going to hamstring you at all. And so I think Patrick understood that. I think them telling him that made him feel good to say, look, you know what? This is the direction we're looking at. We're looking to probably get some young guys in here, some different guys that can still go and catch the football. So it's not going to be any different than what we try to do. We're still going to try to go win. We can't go and, put our heads in the sand and just, oh my gosh, what we're going to do with the season. And then, maybe 3 years we'll be better. No, we're trying to win now. Look, we got rid of Tyreek Hill. Well, we didn't get rid of him. It didn't work out. But we're still going to involve you with guys around you that's going to be successful. So I think that was the proper statement to make. That's how you're supposed to be as a quarterback, stand up there and stick your chest out and exude confidence. And, what we're doing is right. And, we still have a strategy to still win this thing. And he believes it. And I believe that to be true too. So I think that's what it was. Yeah,
he made some things we've talked about on here. He said some of these things that we even talked about with Barbershop last week, that he's curious to see how defenses play them, just because Tyreek demanded these unicorn defenses that we've never seen before. And he said, I wonder if they're going to go back to the normal defenses. It's a lot of nuggets he said in here. But one thing he said, which we will get into a little more later in the last topic of the show, but he talks about how the offense we're going to have, it's not so much. He said last year made me kind of be better as a quarterback, the different defenses that I had to see. I saw everything. He goes, but it kind of took me out of this Travis to Tyreek to Travis to Tyreek, Travis to Tyreek. And as we know, there really wasn't that other guy besides Travis and Tyreek. So, made him check down a little bit more than we've seen, made him just do a little different things we've never really seen before. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. And I think he's kind of alluding to, we're going to have a lot of different pieces where it's not going to be what we've seen before. And he's even said it's not going to look like the Kansas City Chiefs that we've seen before. And I mean, what do you think about that? Is that something that Chief fans should be scared of, that we haven't seen this before? Or is it just a different evolution, next level of Patrick Mahomes' offense?
No, it's still X's and O's in football. I mean, it's, running, getting open. But for him, he's going to go back to the way of just understanding and reading defenses as they were. So it's not going to be kind of like the bastard defense that he's never seen before, that they're just throwing to Kansas City, not giving it to anybody else, right? Only when you play Kansas City, you're doing the too high shell safe. That's what you're going to see. Now teams are probably going to play that with Miami. It might be to us, his thing he has to look at now. But I mean, with the guys he has in, you still gonna have guys that's gonna stress the defense. Guys, defense is going to still have to play you straight up. Patrick's still going to kill defenses with his legs, and he's got a couple of runners behind him that can do the job too. So when he says these things are gonna be different, it ain't gonna be just Tyreek and Travis. Now he'll be able to distribute the ball to different players. Now he's got Juju. Now he's got Hardman. Now he's got Travis. Now he's got Jones. Now he's got CEH. We're talking about Gordon. We're talking about maybe the young guy that's coming in. So he's going to have a myriad of guys to throw the ball to. And I think he understands that. No, not to mention, Fortson comes back. Noah Gray's coming in. So they're going to have a lot of fun with this offense. It's going to look slightly different, but these guys are still going to try to score. They're going to still put, the pedal to the metal and try to wheel themselves to win. They're going to try to score quick. They're still going to try to hit you over the head. I don't think it's going to be any different. They're going to still have the same mindset. Like, we're going out there to destroy defenses, period. And like I said, as long as you have 15 back there throwing that rock, shoot, you got that opportunity to do it.
Yeah, he said in the article too, talking about being a veteran and a leader on the team. He said having the whole offensive line makeover that they had going into this year. He talked about how I had to be the leader for a lot of these younger guys, and now Tyreek's gone, Matthew's gone. He said it's now for him. He's got to be even more of an outspoken leader than he was, and so it's like last year kind of paved the way for him to be in this situation. And I think that speaks to what Andy Reid and Brett Veach are going like, dude. You got the keys to the kingdom. We don't need Tyreek Hill. We have you. You can make maybe not the next Tyreek Hill, but you can make that next receiver or the next few guys. Like that's why we're paying you the big bucks. Yeah, that.
Those guys, kind of grew together. Patrick, Tyreek, and Kelsey. That was kind of like that mix. But now, him being a quarterback, him being, like you said, kind of the guy. Well, he's always been a guy. Kind of stepping up, but look, he has help. He's got Orlando Brown Jr. right on the offensive line to teach those young guys, which the young guys are the way they played last year are mature. They got Thuney, so he's not going to be the only voice. He's got Juju there. He's got Marquez there, so he's got some veteran guys who's been around who is not new. These guys have been around, and it's kind of good because you kind of see guys that kind of in that part of their career, that time in their career where it's like, okay, you're starting to establish yourself well. People are listening to you. You're not the young guy. Everybody's like, hold on, man. Look, you got to pay your dues. There's guys that's been around. So these guys that's been there 5-6 years in the league, hey, you lean on those guys, but like understand what they need to do. And they'll know, they'll shoot. Hey, Marquez Scantley, he's coming from Green Bay. So he's been around Aaron Rodgers and those guys. He understands what it means to be Devontae Adams. He understands that. Juju been up there with Tomlinson and all those guys on offense. So he understands what he needs to do. So, he's not just taking it all on his shoulders. He knows he's looking at guys that's been there before, that's got some experience under their belt. And that's a great place to be. So when you was kind of at offensive line, yeah, it's different because you had 3 rookies. Yeah. 2 guys had been there before. So some of that communication has to come through him. But now, being in that system for a year, older guys, they understand that. He's like, good. Now, I don't have to talk to these guys as much. They can take care of that themselves. So, yeah, it's a good place. It's a good place.
Yeah, and that's something he alluded to, talking about Scantling and Juju coming from playing with Aaron Rodgers, playing with Big Ben. Like these guys, these guys have played in good offensive systems before with these, big leaders, these big guys, being Rodgers and Big Ben. So, yeah, I said it last week. I'm really excited to watch what his offense is because I think it's going to be obviously different, but like I want to see how different it is. Like the different nuances because there's going to be different nuances to it, and it's gonna be tough to stop the team if we are going this whole approach where like we have Juju, we have Kelsey, we have Scantling, we have maybe Josh Gordon, maybe Corey Coleman, Hardman. Yeah. We're gonna have so many different guys. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hard to stop a team like that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, man, you got some pieces. So everything doesn't look dire to me. I mean, look, you got some guys in there who can play some football, and that's all you need. You just need some good pieces around you, which he has. And they're gonna be able to compete. So that's good, man. I think they're gonna do a lot better than what people are thinking and what they're, even if you don't get a wide receiver in the draft. Hey man, I'm looking at the room. I'm good. We can ride with these guys. We can make these things happen. And the thing is, like I said, you got to incorporate their running game to help open everything else up. If you're just out there throwing the ball 50, 60 times, come on, it's not gonna do it. Don't do that. Don't put these guys over here who's willing to run the ball, and you got guys in front of them who's willing to block. They're knocking guys' tails off. And so, hey, get behind those big guys, hand the ball off a few times, open up the pass. You're gonna be all right. It's gonna look good. So I'm excited. I'm excited too. Can't wait to see what they look like.
And it'll show you too if we don't make a move for a receiver in the draft. it'll show you how excited they are about certain guys that we've talked about on the show. And these guys, are about to get into right now.
Absolutely.
So with our final topic tonight, everyone knows who tunes into the show that JD's a huge Josh Gordon fan. So with our final concern, Patrick Mahomes has been hosting for the last week. So since last Friday, I believe it was the first picture I saw of him doing routes with Josh Gordon and some of the guys. He's been hosting in Texas with his quarterback coach and his trainer, Bobby Straub, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. But there's been pictures of Corey Coleman, CEH, Juju Smith-Schuster, Josh Gordon, and videos of these guys catching with their receiver coach, Coach Frog. I believe his guy's name. He's a pretty renowned receiver coach. But he's been with those guys in Texas. And it was last week, and yesterday they had pictures of all the guys and it said #day1. So it's like an ongoing camp they have going down there with Patrick throwing balls to them. What do you got to make of all these guys? And I got to say this. I know it's Corey Coleman. It was a first-round pick from the Browns. He hasn't really amounted to anything so far in his career. Yeah. Hard though with the kind of the different quarterbacks and all offenses they had in Cleveland. He got cut, went to New York, tore his ACL. It was actually a pretty decent kick returner. I think he averaged like 25-something yards a return that one year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's a guy too. Josh Gordon. We obviously know the history with him. And then Dory's Fountain, obviously that there's history with us, him being on the practice squad, making the team last year, didn't really see much reps, but we got a lot of options out there. So I guess my question is, what do you make of this kind of receiver camp that Mahomes is hosting for all the guys, and even CH being there too? I mean, I think that says volumes about how he wants to kind of take his game to the next level in the passing game, because he was a picture of him catching balls. But what do you make of this camp he's got going on down there for our weapons?
Oh man, I love it. I'm excited. That right there warms my heart. I'm absolutely just overjoyed to know those guys are down there right now working out with him. And here's the thing: he's jumping on this thing right now. He understands, like, look, if it's going to be these guys that I have, I'm throwing the ball to. Let's start developing chemistry right now. Let's start learning each other what we need to start doing right now. Offensively, we need to do. Let me find out what you're good at, what you're great at, what you're not so good at, and so kind of moving on from there. So it's this right here is a learning process. And the thing is, you got to have these times and opportunities and take advantage of them. If you have the resources and the means to do it, jump on the flight, head on down there. And look, everybody's pushing to say, look, you know what? We don't need a young guy coming in here. These are going to be the guys in the building, and we need to rely on each other right now. Let's just understand it. And so bringing all these guys together, you're trying to create the mesh and the relationship that you need with each other. And you want to make that room so tight, just a brotherhood, just a family. So everybody's just relying on each other. And I think that's the best way to go about doing it. Go down, hey, enjoy yourself, relax a little bit, have some fun, get away from all the seriousness of being at camp, but also go and compete. And so when you start competing like that, everybody gets on the same page. And so it was kind of one of those things, and I just kind of tell you, like with tight ends, during the offseason, we would go on vacation with each other. We would, go and eat dinner with each other. We go and see our families and whatnot. So we developed this cohesiveness with one another. And so when you get to know people more, deeper, a little bit more in depth, that helps you out on the football field, because now all of a sudden your communication changes from being out there with each other to relating to what it should be on the field. And so, what guys are motivated by, what, the competition would do for them. And so you're pushing guys like, come on, man, let's go. Let's stay. You drop this ball, you got 20 push-ups. You got, you do this, you got to do that. And so this helps keep guys accountable. So when you do that, you're just, like I said, you're putting all these guys together, making them the family, the cohesive nature that you want to try to embed into these guys. Hey, that's perfect. Pat, he's doing it the right way. These guys are doing it the right way. These guys are professional and understand, like, look, yeah, we lost a little bit here, but what we're trying to do is you're trying to make this room a lot more better with more pieces, more weapons than what we had. Okay, might have lost the cheetah, might have lost the bazooka, but maybe we got a couple of hyenas and leopards and tigers running around here okay, instead. So maybe we could do that. So that's the way I look at it, man. So it's encouraging. I love it. I love it. It's professionalism. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's guys taking it upon themselves to, put themselves in a good position, because you got to figure there's two things going at play here. The fact they're doing this, 3 weeks before the draft, right? And obviously, like you say, everything's on the table on draft night. Yeah. But you got to figure 3 weeks before the draft, you got guys like Corey Coleman, you got Josh Gordon, who really hasn't had much time with them. And Corey Coleman's new to the whole team, and Fountain too. So they're doing workouts with Patrick. They're trying, and you obviously played, so you know more about this. In their mind, they're trying to let me dominate this workout, so Patrick knows what kind of guy he has in me. And Absolutely. Then Patrick's doing self-evaluations on these guys to go report back to Veach and Reed. I mean, is that kind of what's going on here?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And so everybody's taking notes. They really are. Shoot, and sometimes how these things happen, you might hear that one or two guys are going down, and so you're like, "Hey, man, how come you didn't call me? Hey, let me get on the flight. Let me go down here too. Let me go in here and go compete." And so, part of it is you're trying to, jockey for position. That's what you're trying to do. Why not? If I can become his favorite. Ooh, he looks good on the fade route. I'll run a better fade than him. And so you're like, okay, I got to get my fade route back down. I got to get my out route back down. I got to get my basic route. I got to get my, my post a little bit better than what it is. And so what you also get to do, you get to see the other guys work. So those guys that might not be number 4 on the option, looking at the number 1. I'm looking at NBA. So what is he doing? How's he running this route? Okay. My route's got to be more crisp than that. Okay. I got to see what Juju is doing. I got to make sure this competition, because when he goes back, he says, hey, Juju is still kind of nursing that knee a little bit. I'm going to show you what I can do on my knee. And so these things right here is you got to encourage the competitive nature and the toughness about what you're going to be enduring on the NFL football field. Because the thing is, man, everybody ain't going to make it. Out of that group, everybody's like, look, you can't keep everyone on the roster. And so the more you can be seen, the more you can do, the better off you're going to be. He's going to make them all. He's going back, no doubt, to Veach and Andy. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, listen, yada, yada, yada was hanging out late last night. He had 10 drinks and everybody else only had 5. So we got to watch out for him because he might be a loose cannon. I mean, look, that's how things work, man. That's how things work. But also, too, what those guys might do is say, hey, man, instead of us drinking 10 drinks last night and getting toe up or whatever we was doing, or going and staying out till 1 o'clock at night, let's all be in bed by 11 because we got some work to do tomorrow. Everybody's in on that. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, cool. Hey, that's how it works. So start building up rapport and stuff like that right now. So, yeah, Patrick, hey, man, you find out who a guy is. Find out. Get to know him. Get to know all these guys. And so get to know how each of them are related to one another. But, yeah, you best believe he is giving reports back. Somebody's out there like taking notes. I guarantee you there. Well, okay. He don't want to work. He ain't a hard worker. He likes taking these plays off. All that's getting reported back.
So you're saying it's even going beyond what's going on the field. It's like it's kind of everything's kind of being reported.
It's everything, everything, and not to say guys should be like on eggshells. Right. You still be yourself, right? Like, look, sometimes you got like, man, this is who I am. Shoot, yeah, I'm a late. I like staying that late. I do. It ain't gonna take me away from my work what I do tomorrow. When I come in tomorrow, I'm still gonna be the hardest worker. Like they were talking like Jordan. And Jordan would stay up late. They were talking about he would just be up 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. He come in early in the morning with, shoot around and be ready to go in the game. Like, man, how's this guy doing it? He's not even getting any sleep at night. I got to have at least 8 or 9 hours of sleep. He needs 2 or 3, and he's coming out there and he's still dogging folks. So not to say that's a knock, but hey, maybe that's just what a guy, how he operates. So, every guy can't sleep in the bed for 9 hours because if a guy who's used to getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, this sucker's over looking at the ceiling like this for 4 hours trying to fall asleep. Like, hey, man, this ain't my bedtime. I ain't used to this. So, yeah. No, yeah, you got to learn all of that. And like I said, not to be on eggshells or not to be a tattletale or any of those things. But sometimes like, hey, man, I like this guy. This guy, he's really good at this. Corey's great at this. And, Josh is getting better at that from what we've seen before. MVS is, hey, man, he's really, fast on these routes. So, it's not just, things to be a negative. It's like, hey, the positive stuff of it.
Right. Speaking more towards guy Corey Coleman, who was a first-round pick. He was awesome at Baylor. Josh Gordon, everyone knows his history. What does it say to you about those two guys specifically, the hunger aspect? Because Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman, you could say both have been humbled, right?
Yeah,
for different reasons. But what does it say to you about their hunger level for them to be going out here, doing these extra steps to try to get chemistry with Patrick, to try to really take this opportunity of having that kind of empty slot at receiver, essentially, trying to make these extra efforts to make the team more, just getting Patrick's good graces to show dude, I can be that guy for you,
Yeah. Now, look, I think, humility, without a doubt, can knock you down to say, man, look, I want to show everybody I'm the real deal, right? Everybody's counting me out. I'm sure he's probably seen, things on Twitter and all through the news, how he's washed up, how these guys no good, this and that. So he's like, look, I'm gonna just go in and grind and put all these naysayers to bed. All these haters and everybody else, I'm just going to put them to bed. And the only way I could do that is what I put out there as my product, the way that I work and what I put out there on the field. So that's the only way you can convince people is what you do on the football field. Same thing with Corey Coleman. I like Corey Coleman. I like him a lot. Matter of fact, the first time we got him here and signed him, I thought he was going to, kind of make it thin. So, but they see something in him. And so these guys are hungry, man. They just want to show that, they still got something in the tank. They still have something to give. And so a lot of it is guys just trying to get that glory back, just a little bit. And not even for the fans, just for themselves, right? Sometimes, we just want to know where we are. And so part of it is with our talents that we have, we want to be able to show and showcase it to everybody else. And then, let the chips fall where they may. Let them fall where they may. So that's why I'm so high on Josh, and I hope Corey does a great job while he's here. I just want what's best for him. I want those things for them. That's what I want. I want Josh to absolutely make it because of the pain that he's went through and because of the Corey has gone through. Man, they've been around some tough roads, and people's going to count them out. And I think it's time that, stop counting them out. Somebody gets behind their back, get them a little win between that sails and push them forward, man. So I'm out here for it, man. I'm going to be a fan. I'm going to be clapping my hands. Come on, Josh. I'm pulling for you. I'm letting you know I'm pulling for you, okay? Don't give it up. I know you still got something in you. Show them people. Show them jokers what you got, man. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm encouraged by that. Because, sometimes, man, you see it, this, or he's had this in the past and the drugs and stuff like that. The guy's trying to show you he's trying to change his life. And you know what? He deserves that. He deserves it. He's had several chances. So what? Give him another one. Give him another one. If he's trying to do it, he's here. He's showing he's committed to it. Let him have it. Bring him in, man. Absolutely.
That's why I was so encouraged when he became when we inactivated him, he didn't play in the playoffs, that we didn't cut him. We left him on our practice squad and we brought him back. We re-signed him for the following year. So it's like, if he was washed, as some people say, he'd be gone. They obviously see something in him. It's like, okay, now let's give him a full off season. Let's let him get connected with Patrick. And I think there's something to that. I really do. I'm obviously hopeful for it, but I do think there's something to it. Those, like you said, those guys wouldn't be talking about how amazing Josh Gordon looked at practice,
Right. Yeah, they just not blowing smoke. I just think the run that they were making, they didn't feel like he was a necessary piece. And I get that part of it, right? And so they were saying, well, look, he's not catching a whole lot of balls anyway. What we do offensively, the guys have been in the system, let them shine. And so, of course, Pringle started showing a little bit. He was like, hey, you know what? Pringle's starting to step up a little bit, Hardman starting to step up. So this is what we was looking for. We was looking for Josh to take those reps. Those guys are trying to earn it back, and they've shown that they've earned that back to be in the offense. And so that's what ended up happening. So they's like, look, Josh, hey, we don't feel like you're a necessary piece, but we don't want to let you go. We're not saying we're not high on you. We think you got a lot there, But what we're trying to do is going to take you a little time to get comfortable in those things that we're doing. And we think that you have a right fit. We think we have a great relationship together. And so I think that's what it is. I think they didn't want to give up on that point on saying, you know what, Josh brings a lot to the table. What he's shown in his character and his dedication, his work and his effort warrants him to still be on this team. And we want this guy to be here. And he can help us out. And sometimes you got to see it. It's going to come to fruition, man. I'm telling you. I think they are high on him because they know what they got in Josh Gordon. And I think they know what they want to do.
I'm excited. Last question on this before we go. Our friend of the show, Nick Athan, Chiefs Insider on Twitter, when the pictures first came out last week, first thing he said was, Mecole Hardman's not there. Oh, man, I'm pretty much discouraged by the fact that he's not there. Is that kind of a guy who's been around Patrick? Does he even need to be there since he, already has rapport with Patrick? Or what do you think on that?
I don't know, man. You can look at it one or two ways. You can look at it like, hey, it's discouraging. The other one's like, hey, man, he might have some other obligations right now. And so if he is and he does have that rapport, then fine. But you best believe if it's something that you had to not voluntarily be there, hey, shoot, go take advantage of it, right? And hopefully he's had a conversation with Pat, like, look, man, I'm not going to be able to do it this week. Shoot, I got something else going on. I had another responsibility that I had to do. But the very next one, you let me know, and I'm there for you. So I don't know, man. Look, it is what it is. So if you feel like it's necessary to be there, be there. If you feel like, hey, I'm cemented in what we do, okay, you can feel that way. But I tell you what, when we're not working, there's other people working, and there's other people to take your position. There's other people that are trying to show what they can do. And so that's just another opportunity for them to say, hey, man, look, it's giving me a chance to shine. And he's got to take that into account too. Like, hey, man, look, these guys are there. But I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah, you learn. These things are learning thing. But maybe, like I said, maybe he has other obligations. Maybe that's what it is. So I don't want to look into it. I don't want to say, hey, man, that's bad, that's wrong. Yeah. You shouldn't do that. And hey, man, look, I get it. Sometimes you can't be everywhere where everybody wants you to be. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, if he does have prior obligations, obviously that takes precedent, especially if you already had things planned. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting when I saw Athan say that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he's not there. Huh. But opportunity, like you say, man. These guys are seasoned, the ones who are there. Yeah.
So that's what you just got to take, in account. Hardman, he's got to take into account that. He's like, okay, hey, these other guys are coming. You ain't coming? Nah, man, look, I got something I got to do. But the next one, absolutely, no doubt about it. So, yeah, no, man, we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
I just don't want to make it seem like it's such a big deal. Yeah, to make it an issue because it's not. It really isn't. It's not.
And plus, I mean, a lot of these guys, because there's still guys on the roster who play with Patrick who didn't go, like that guy Dieter, who's been, everyone said that's like Patrick's butt buddy. He wasn't there. He's been on the team for a while. So and Kelsey's not there either. So, guys, maybe it is for the guys who don't really have rapport with Patrick, and Patrick wanted the new guys to be together. Maybe CEH is there though. So, I mean, I don't know, but if we are going to have more of a pass catching role for him next year, maybe he did want to be there for that. So,
yeah. Well, he's still trying to get into shape, man, from the injury too. So that's another reason he probably just wanted to take advantage of the opportunity, right? That's right. Plus, man, the draft, when after the draft is over, everything is going to start rolling. You start doing OTAs and all that. Like it's going to be rolling from that point on. Yeah. But look, I'm a big supporter of guys getting away from football when you can. Okay, don't make it all about football. Don't have to always be your life. Sometimes, having a little bit of a peace, when you can go and play, is what you really need. And so, I think sometimes guys may take it, too serious and do a little bit too much. And sometimes it gets in the way of what you want to do on the field because you always make it all about ball. And it's like, man, there's more to life than just that. But you need to know when you get there, boy, you better be going 100 miles an hour, so that's the thing.
Well, and that's funny, it's like, I think people, I'm not trying to dog Nick Athan for saying anything, but I think people just in general, it's like, you forget that is their, we want to talk about work-life balance for people who have office jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Work-life balance. I mean, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Making millions and you're playing football, but like, it's still their job and they're professionals in that. And they want a little break from that. They're trying to have a balance in their life. Some have families, some just want to enjoy their single life, I mean, like that's, right. And for almost pretty much all year long, you have football. You have work all year long. So for the few months you have off, let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy their summer break. Yeah.
And look, it maybe has, like I said, maybe like you said, prior obligations. You might have different responsibility, and so sometimes, man, you might be, with your kids or whatever it may be in the family. Say, hey, man, we had this vacation plan. We're gonna go ahead and do this, but you best believe, hey, next time doesn't mean I'm not dedicated. Just means I have something else I have to do at this time. Now, hey, but when I get out there, I'm rolling. Because if I'm on vacation somewhere else, then I'm running on the beach. I'm still lifting weights. I'm still doing all these different things, with my family. I'm still getting my work in. And so you could tell guys like that. You could tell guys who are still professional that you don't have to be around all the time. But when they come in, you see like this guy's been working. You could tell this guy has been doing what he's supposed to do. And so somebody like McCole, he's been there. And everybody that's there in the system, he's the only one that's been there as long as he has, right? Nobody else. No, he's the only one. So, yeah.
He's the most senior guy now.
Yeah. New guys. I want to meet the new guys. I want to meet the new guys, fresh. I just want to meet the new guys. Okay. Merkel, I see you a different time, Hardman. All right, we'll catch up. All right, cool. I see you. All right, I'll holler.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We don't know everything. We don't know everything. Hey, man, look at what. No, look, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. Yeah. I mean, it's just pictures we're seeing of these guys catching balls. No one even knows a backstory. All we're basing off of is two coaches' Instagram photos that say #day1 of Mahomes' camp or whatever. I mean, we don't know what's going on. So I mean, we're just basing these off pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Nobody's ever made their lives look better on Instagram by taking pictures. They've never done that before.
No.
Who's to say?
That's good. All right, fellas. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week. And you know what? I'm based on this conversation that we had on the first topic. I'm not hopeful we'll be making moves next week, but maybe we do bring in Stephon Gilmore. Maybe we do make that trade for Tyler Lockett that we've been talking about. But we'll see.
We'll see, man. We'll see. You still got time. There's a lot that could be moving on from here to then. So we still got time.
Definitely. And we have the draft capital to make trades if we want to do that. So
that's right.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.